face. Truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, for a face. Big footprints in a pine slick path. Bob Lazar files where the government laughed. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. We're the Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. We're the Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast. We're having all kinds of malfunctions today. I hope everybody can hear me this time. I don't know what happened. There was a whole chat just going along, and nobody could hear me or see me. I don't know. So I thank everybody for being here. It's been a really long time since I've been back. I've had quite a few couple of weeks. It's been pretty rough. But I'm back. I have walking pneumonia. Luckily, I'm on the tail end of it. So I've taken my last antibiotic and steroid. So hopefully I'm better. But if I start coughing, please just forgive me on that. And Alora is not here today because she is doing something for me that's really important. So yeah, but today we have some special guests from TikTok land. We have Audrey and we have Ashley, baby. And we're going to be talking about the habeas corpus that Nicholas filed a while back. And then we're going to go into Gypsy's new messages that she's been posting on TikTok and in the comments and things like that. So it's going to be a great show, and we're going to bring Audrey and Ashley up now. Hey, Audrey.
Hey.
Hey, Ashley. How are you ladies doing today?
I'm good.
Back feed.
Oh, is it me?
I don't know if it's you or Audrey.
Here, let me mute.
Okay, you try it, Ashley. Speak, Ashley.
Is it me?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm hearing. Can you guys hear that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. It's me then.
I can
Don't worry
hear
about it. Oh, you hear it too?
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird. Oh well. Okay. Well, we're going to get into it today, and that's pretty bad, actually. I don't know what's going on. Let me turn mine down a little bit. See. Is that better?
I know what it is. Do you have my TikTok open too?
You know what? I might on. No, I don't think I do actually. I think I closed it. Yeah, I closed it up. I don't
Okay,
know what's going on.
it's gone now because I was thinking that it was my TikTok coming over on your end.
No, you're good. Okay, ladies. So Ashley's already been here, and we also went on a foray to Springfield together, which was very fun. But Audrey, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, real quick, before we get into all this?
I'm just a little content creator from over on YouTube who, like, I was originally a supporter of Gypsy. I watched all the shows and all that, and then like little things that she was doing started to fall apart, and one of my friends knew that I was a big supporter, and so she's like, "Girl, we're going to get coffee. You're going to sit down and you're going to listen." And she just kind of
Really?
started going over stuff with me, and I started digging on my own, and from there I became a certified Gypsy hater.
I wouldn't say I'm a hater, but I definitely side eye her a lot. I
Fair.
think it's interesting that you came to it that way by somebody actually sitting you down and saying, "Girl, we got to talk."
Yes.
And what did you think when you first heard what she was saying?
I didn't believe her. I was in denial. And then I finally like sat down and I was like, okay, I need to look at this from the lens of I don't have an opinion. And
Mhm.
that's whenever I started to realize like a lot of the stuff that she originally showed me and that I was like, this can't be right. I was like, it actually is right. It makes sense. Like she wasn't just blowing smoke up my ass, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so that's basically how like I came to acknowledge my own denial in the situation.
Okay. Yeah, and like I told you yesterday, I started praying for her, because she was in prison with my cousin. So
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about her except for the very bare minimum. So it was like very interesting for me to now be somebody, putting documents out there showing, that she's a liar. That's kind of crazy to me.
Right.
So, Ashley, and you've been on here before, but you want to tell a little bit real quick just about where you started with Gypsy?
Her documentaries. Her documentaries. I watched a bunch of her documentaries, and the story kept changing.
Mhm.
Specifically, the story with Dan, how she got caught. In one story, it was friends called her mom. In the next story, she dropped her cell phone. In the next story, I think she like left a note in her wheelchair,
Mhm.
and it was like something is just not adding up. So I started reading her book, and that's when I kind of was like, I'm so over her, because her book's so damn outlandish, man. It's just
Oh, yeah.
outlandish. It's so gassed up to where in every scenario she wants you to be like, you poor pitiful me.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of what we're going to get into tonight after we cover Nick's habeas corpus, because, I think it's really important to see the rewrite she's trying to do now.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be good for you two ladies to get into it and show us what you've got, because you two ladies are tearing it up on the TikTok streets.
Audrey's been getting it, man. Audrey's
Told
been
you.
getting it. She has. Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. There's so much good stuff right now going on. Like, I swear that little paragraph she left in the one content creator's comments. I was gonna say messages, but anyway, in the comments, it was like she was explaining why she had the tube. She told everybody right there when she said she had to stay a month. I don't know. I just ended up staying a month. What do
Well,
you mean?
and
Yeah.
You
that
know?
was shocking to me because if you're in the hospital for a month, your mom can't continue to make you sick. You're not returning like periodically throughout a month. You're staying for a month. You're under observation. You're getting tests done pretty much daily whenever you were in the hospital like that. And I think it was Becca Scoops who said like doctors try to discharge you and they're not wrong.
Mhm.
100%. They want to get you out of there.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I've been in the hospital so many times, and I mean, they want you out that day or early that next morning. You know, they're
Yes.
not playing around.
They definitely don't want you sitting up in there a month when there's no reason for you to even be there. You know,
Mhm.
like that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Hey guys, can you let everybody know that's in the other live to come on over here and hang out with us? Because I don't know what the heck happened, but I had to create a new one. So let everybody know what's going on over here. Okay. So let's get into Nicholas's habeas corpus first, and then we will get into Gypsy's mess because that could take a whole lot longer than Nick's stuff. So,
Amber, I was
yeah.
looking and I couldn't see where the email came through with the link.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No.
Real quick.
I'm sitting outside because my kids are on Call of Duty and we're just not doing it. We're just not doing it.
Why not?
Yep.
Oh,
Maybe
girl,
we'll want to do both.
it gets real in there. You'd think something was really happening sometimes.
You're running for cover.
Yeah, and my 9-year-old, he's still at that age where he'll have a come apart. And listen, he's like a pro in the game. My kids are gamers because their dad's a gamer. But yeah, sometimes he will have a meltdown.
I don't
He'll
blame
be
him.
like, "They're hacking me. They're hacking me." There's not that many hackers, son. Like, so
You don't
funny.
know that, Ashley. I'm on his side.
I used to be like, "I know it, baby. I know. They're just getting you. It's okay." But now I'm like, listen, there's no way.
Yeah, my son plays a lot of video games. Well, he used to. Now he's into drawing, but it's been very interesting. They get into those zones to where, there's nothing happening in front of
Yeah.
them that they will ever see. Somebody could be murdered and they would
Yep.
not see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try and. Oh, you know what? I'm in the wrong email account. That's why. Duh. Okay. Why is my email not on here all of a sudden?
Is it cold where y'all are at yet?
Oh, yeah.
Girl, it's 40 degrees right now.
Yeah. It got chilly here today too. I was like, man, here it comes. Here we go. Ugh.
Shut up. I'm in denial. It's still summer.
I
No.
love fall.
I can deal with fall, but once it starts getting really cold, I do not care for it. And a lot of times, once it gets, I'm not coming out of sweatsuit, jeans. Nope, never happening in the winter when it's like that. Not happening.
I'm literally going to be showing up to my job in like those bibbed overalls over my outfit.
Yes, oh, I love those.
I was in Chicago last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess now. And it was so cold there and so windy. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was terrible.
I bet. The first time I came up here to Nebraska, I was getting clean, and my husband put me on a bus from Memphis to Nebraska by myself. He gave me like $20. Didn't give me a cell phone because he knows me. Don't give me any leeway because I'm a runner. I'm a track star. You know what I mean? And so he puts me on this bus, and I make it to Chicago. Oh my God. I never felt cold like that ever. And it was like January 1st. It felt like razor blades hitting me. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
terrible.
The first time I felt like cold was in Missouri, of all places. And I remember calling my dad because he was from Michigan. And I was like, I hate you. You never prepared me for this cold.
Right? My sister.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, girl. My bad.
Oh, I was just going to say I lived in Missouri, or not Missouri, Florida for like 21, 22 years, something like that. And so coming up to Florida from Missouri was a huge shock to my senses.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to get used to it. It's been almost 4 years.
It's a shock.
Yeah.
Did you get those that email? I don't don't know why it didn't send to you earlier.
I don't know because my iPad decided to just update.
Of course it did. Oh, no.
Hold on. Let me
Oh,
see.
no.
I don't. Oh, yep. It came through though. So when
Okay,
she's
awesome.
done updating, I'm good.
Okay, well, so we're going to read Nick's habeas corpus. This is the one that he wrote, and I'm going to put it on the screen. Actually, let me get out of here real quick. Sorry, I didn't want to show anything just in case. Okay. Here it is. Okay. I can't even. That's not the right thing. That's the Chat GPT that I was trying to figure out what habeas corpus was. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get used to this again.
Oh, you're good, girl.
It's been a while. Is somebody watching football?
No, that's my husband telling my son to calm down because he's upset about the controller.
Somebody just hacked him.
That's so funny. Okay. So this is United States District Court, Western District of Missouri, Honorable Judge Beth Phillips, date July 6, 2025. Re habeas corpus response, Nicholas Paul Godejohn. Dear Judge Phillips, I respectfully submit this letter with the understanding that I am not trained in law. Please bear with me as I speak from the heart as best I can. First and foremost, I believe our judicial system has been broken for over a century, since 1913, with the replacement of the gold standard and barter system by the Federal Reserve. The system has drifted away from serving the people. Even further back, our nation's founding in 1776 included horrific injustices, slavery, the genocide of indigenous people, and the theft of their lands. These wrongs, rooted in violence and division, could have been avoided if we had chosen a path of unity and peace. Instead of growing together in harmony, our society fractured. We now carry those divisions into the very systems meant to uphold justice. The prison system has remained largely unchanged since the 1950s, with little meaningful reform since the 1977 Pennhurst lawsuit, which exposed the abusive treatment of society's most vulnerable, the sick, disabled, young, and poor. The resulting closure of Pennhurst in 1987 should have been a wake-up call, yet society and now the justice system itself appears not to have learned the lesson. Sorry, Oates is a menace to society. Okay. I may be the first person in recent memory to bring this kind of injustice to light so directly. I worry that if my case is not sent back for retrial, it will confirm to the public that our system is no longer capable of correcting its mistakes. It seems that Lady Justice has long been bound, gagged, and blinded, no longer offering true justice to the sick, disabled, elderly, and destitute. Instead, our system now serves primarily those who can afford it. The result is that the majority, especially the poor, are often overlooked and discarded. I ask you to consider that I am autistic with confirmed mental disabilities that have left me developmentally frozen at the age of 15. This has been proven in prior evaluations. I have fully acknowledged my actions and accepted responsibility. However, I respectfully argue that keeping me incarcerated for life without the possibility of parole violates my Eighth Amendment rights. My condition requires understanding and support, not indefinite punishment in a system not equipped to provide either. There is no cure for autism, only accommodation and compassion. Continued incarceration without appropriate care denies my basic humanity, Justice, if it is to mean anything, must also include mercy. Finally, I ask you this. Do you have the courage and integrity to do what is right, even if it goes against the grain of a broken system? I hope you choose what your conscience knows is just, not only for me, but for others like me who remain lost in the system with similar cognitive disabilities. Thank you for your time and for listening. Respectfully submitted, Nicholas P. Godejohn. So that is a very heartfelt letter written from Nicholas himself. And I think it's very important that we look at this. And I wonder where this mentality of the first part of it came from. Was that something that he came up on his own, or is somebody philosophizing to him in prison? You know how they do.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. All this, the history stuff and injustices. I was wondering who came up with that too. Is that him?
Yeah. So we know that he can speak very well. I mean, for somebody who has the disabilities that he has, right? And so when I look at this, I think, well, he could have really written it himself. I mean, like without any like obvious help or anything like that, you know, because I think this comes from his heart.
Yeah.
Um, but I wonder where this mentality came from.
It actually sounds like he has actual regret too.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does sound like that. And it sounds like he's just pleading to let people know that um, he was done wrong and he doesn't have the mental capacity to understand everything that happened to him, is what I get from it.
Yeah. And it's not, and he understands he needs some time. He's just saying he doesn't think he deserves life without parole.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Like, he's not saying just release me into the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. He's not actually asking, say, "Hey, just release me or release me in a couple of years or whatever." He's just saying, "Please don't give me life without the possibility of parole."
And that's like complete opposite of what you would see Gypsy do. Like you think about her on Dr. Phil, and she flat out told him, I don't think I should have done the time I'm doing.
Mhm.
And that was only like, what, a year and a half, 2 years into her sentence?
I
Something
don't even
like
think it was
that.
that long.
It may have not been.
Yeah,
It
I
may have not
honestly don't
been.
know the timeline because I wasn't paying attention at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Dr. Phil was 2017.
Okay.
So it wasn't
Uh,
too long.
if
And
anybody
then
in the chat knows, tell us.
his trial was in 2018, I believe.
Yeah. His was an 18.
Yeah. So, um, so one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because, you know, Nicholas wrote this himself, as far as we're aware, didn't have any help. He at least didn't have any legal help preparing this, right? You can tell that. Um, and I like, I really like our community and the fact that people really care about Nicholas and about Dee Dee.
Yeah.
I think it's very admirable that we do care as much as we do. And but I also think that it's important for Nicholas to have say in everything that happens in his world, and especially in his legal matters. And I bring this up because there was another document that was sent in to the Greene County court system on Nick's behalf, filled out by a concerned citizen. And they did a really good job. I've read it. They did a really good job. And they wrote basically a letter appealing to the judge saying, hey, you need to look at these mitigating circumstances. And they brought out a bunch of good points and everything. But at the end of the day, Nicholas is upset that that was sent in for him on his behalf. And we've known that for a while because I remember when this first happened, I remember everybody thinking that, you know, that one
I thought it
person.
was the attorney that did it.
Well, at first we thought it was his attorney, and then we realized that he didn't have an attorney, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought that, maybe, Fancy put it together, and then I looked at it and I was like, "No, she didn't put that together."
It was
So,
it's well done.
yeah. Yeah, it's well done, and so yeah, we've got a lot of bad interference. I don't know
Is it
where
me?
that's coming from. Is that okay? It is coming from Ashley. Oh, sorry, Ashley.
She's
Okay.
in trouble.
It's all good. So, yeah, but I just wanted to, I just wanted everybody to remember that Nicholas is his own person with his own autonomy, and even though we don't like, that he has a certain group of people representing him, or that he doesn't fill paperwork out the correct way or whatever, at the end of the day, it's still his right to choose who he wants to represent him, and who he wants to have him fill out documents and submit paperwork on his behalf. So I would just encourage everybody to, while we mean well and while we want to, care about these people, sometimes we can cross a line. And I just wanted to bring that up and just let everybody know that maybe we should not do that anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that 21-page document that everybody's going around with is not his actual filing. It is another person's that did it on his behalf without his permission.
Well,
So
yeah.
that's concerning.
Well, and see, and that's confusing to me too, because I was sent one document that has, let me see where it is. Let me bring it up. Hold on. I was sent this document, and it's not a 21-page document with all of the interviews and stuff. So I don't know where Starlight and Becca got it. Actually, I know they said that it was from Straight Out of Context and Myra, and it's some kind of FOIA, but I don't know what that is, and it's not what I have here. Let me
The 21 pages that I sent you, that is part of what they were showing, but they added on at the end the casebook stuff.
Okay,
So like
that's
they
where I was
combine the
confused.
two in a live.
Okay, that's where I was confused. I was completely confused because it sounded like it was this one cohesive document, and I'm like, I just don't see where I was so confused. But granted, I also have had pneumonia for 2 weeks, so
Right. Yeah. No, it's not a cohesive document and they weren't filed together or anything like that. It's just that whenever they were on their live, they were talking about the 21-page document that the person filed without his permission, which I don't know if they said that part. Um, but then they were talking about the casebook stuff as well.
yeah. Okay. That makes more sense to me because I was racking my brain for the last few days, and I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense. So I have not been sent that part of it as far as I know. And I could have been, and I just didn't realize it. Um, and I'm sorry I haven't been highlighting y'all's messages, but I thank everybody for being here. Really, I do. I got kind of out of sorts when my last stream failed. I don't know what happened. Okay. So,
Technical difficulties.
yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. It says, let's just look at this. It says, Myra was told not to read those. You guys are great, but Ashley, baby, when you tap that phone making your point, I so wish Gypsy was standing in front of you and was tapping her forehead and you were tapping her forehead. I know, right? Every
I
time I'm
second
like,
that.
you know how we got here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad that has stuck to the little tap.
Okay, only I have the FOIAs. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Why she could not read them? I have no idea. The ones Myra have is not legal according to MBG. Okay, yes. So that is actually why I wanted to talk about it, is because from my understanding, Nick is very upset that that was submitted on his behalf to the court, even though the person was very clear that they were a concerned citizen and they asked the court if they were able to do it on his behalf as a concerned citizen. So I make that point because I think it's important. And Joy, I have no idea who Myra is. I think it's a part of NPG, but I have no idea. I can't keep track of everybody.
Right.
Right.
So,
There's so many. I don't even know
yeah.
who all MPG is.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't.
I have no clue about them. And I try to just stay away from everything with all that stuff because I just don't want to know. I don't care.
Amber said, avoid all the drama.
Yeah, I do. I try to really. I really try too hard. I got too much
Some
drama in my own life.
Well, and sometimes you have to, because it, instead of it being about the case, certain individuals try to make it very personal, and it's like that's not what we're here about. Like
Yeah.
the day I commit a crime, if that ever happens, you're free to do the same thing about me, but I haven't at this moment, so leave me alone.
I
I've
don't
committed
have a record at
crimes,
all.
but I've been pretty open about them when I made videos about them. I never lie. And
Right.
that's the issue. Is she did it, and you're lying. You're lying about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
no.
like Ashley said, you're not going to pull anything out on her that she hasn't already said herself.
Right. Right. And I'm very open with everybody. So anything I've ever done, I'll be very honest with you about. I may be embarrassed, but I'll be open.
Same,
Right.
same. And I'm gonna figure out a way to make that shit funny. I'm gonna make it funny.
You have to, because if you grew up with trauma and all that, like after so much, everything's just a joke.
Yep.
Right.
You're just not serious anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people sometimes, I don't know if they don't understand me or what, but things will happen and I'm just real calm and I don't like wig out and stuff. And yeah, they're just like, what the heck is wrong with you? Are you like a psychopath? And it's like, no, dude, I've just had so much trauma. There's,
Your brain registers it like Christmas morning at this
yeah,
point.
exactly.
All your fight and flight ran out. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Well,
Only
my
thing,
fight's still there.
not mine. I'm left on sit mode.
I don't come up behind me and scare me. You will get hit in the face as hard as as hard as I can. So that's one thing you definitely don't want to do with me is get up behind me and scare me because I don't react well.
Oh
And
yeah, I'm
I'm
probably gonna hurt
assuming,
somebody then.
yeah, I'm assuming it's from past trauma, but I didn't really realize it was such a problem until I went to Halloween Horror Nights and at Universal Studios, and I went into a haunted house, and somebody like jumped at me from behind, and I just
Oh man.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring up that part of the Nicholas part, that I think we just need to always be mindful that these are real people. They have real lives. They have real feelings and real wishes. And even though they're incarcerated or even if they have a low IQ, it doesn't mean that we can make those choices for them. So
Agreed.
okay. So now we're going to move into Gypsy and her craziness. So she put a message on TikTok, which my other studio was loaded with all this stuff. Now I got to figure out. Hold on.
This bitch is crazy.
All right. Okay, so actually I'll just read it off of my phone because honestly, I don't have the energy to go and look for it on my computer right now. So
Can we vape when we're on camera on here?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Hold on just a second. My son wants something.
Ashley, me and you sound like addicts because I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna quit leaning over then.
I know, right?
Dexter in the
Sorry about that. Okay. So I figured this was, written to people like us, people who talk about Gypsy. Thank you, Gianna, forever. That's very kind of you. I keep forgetting to highlight everybody's stuff. Sorry, I'm cleaning my glasses. But yeah, thank you very much. And I'm not trying to just highlight the other the paid ones either. I'm just losing focus. Sorry.
You're good. Real fast, my chat, one of the people in it, I didn't catch the name, said thank you for your service, Amber.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I was only in a year. I fell and broke my back in 3 places. So, I don't really feel like a veteran, but everybody at Military Broadcast Radio tells me I am. So,
there you go.
And the VA at 100%. So, finally.
E for effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is what Gypsy put on her TikTok, and it says, "My response to those who invalidate my abuse as a trauma survivor." Thank you, Forest Friend. That's very kind of you. Okay, so it says, "I want to take a moment to acknowledge I am a controversial topic and why some on social media invalidate my trauma. My mother never had been formally diagnosed with MBP. However, experts strongly believe that with all the warning signs, she had undiagnosed MBP. Munchausen by proxy, or another term, fictitious disorder and malingering. She often lied about my health and manipulated everyone around her, including the doctors and family. The truth is, most of the surgeries and medications I went through were unnecessary." Okay, let's break that down a little bit. Thank you again,
Girl,
Forrest.
say less. So, okay, I want to hit on where she says experts strongly believe that her mom would be diagnosed with MBP. All of those experts that have come out and said anything have went off of Gypsy's word, not off of Gypsy's actually medical file and what Dee Dee was doing. So Gypsy could take several seats on that comment.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. That's my thing. Is Gypsy makes it sound like some expert has gone through her damn medical records. Who? You know, nobody has seen it, as far as I know, other than her damn attorney. And he just conveniently left out that she had the micro deletion, and said, oh, she's perfectly healthy.
And Gypsy acknowledges that because in a recent post, she made the comment about she's never sat down with a doctor and went over all of her stuff. So therefore, no doctor has sat down with all of her stuff.
Yeah, and I think it would behoove her to have that done, but we're going to get into that. So, yeah, for her now, Millennial and I have been reading books about MBP, and it seems like the experts in MBP want to call everything Munchausen by proxy. Even malingering, even, just lying, basically, or being a hypochondriac and things like that. And so when we say that Dee Dee didn't have Munchausen by proxy, all of us are thinking Dee Dee did not make Gypsy sick. Okay. That's our definition of Munchausen by proxy. That's what we've always been told Munchausen by proxy is that a caregiver makes that child or that person sick for attention, for their own attention, not for the child's attention or the patient's attention, but for their own attention. So, and so yeah, but at the same time, Gypsy, she did suffer from some malingering and things like that, I think, as of now. But I believe at some point, some medical records are going to come out that's going to show that she did have some type of leukemia or did have something that she was being worked up for cancer or for leukemia or something. I believe that the doctors put it in Dee Dee's head that this is what she had. And I've told everybody before, I was told at one point that I had a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that was after testing me for other things, and they did 2 bone marrow biopsies in the same day, which was absolutely horrible. And I had terrible side effects from it. And, but I was told that I had non-Hodgkin's. They're like, okay, this is what you got. We're working you up for it. We're going to start you. So they started doing like iron infusions and things like that. But I didn't have non-Hodgkin's. Okay. So for 23 years, basically now, I've been on a journey as to figure out what it is. Okay. This last week, I was called and they said, "Oh, well, your ANA is like over 1,000, and we think now you have scleroderma or scleroderma. That's what it is." But like 2 months ago, it was, "Well, we think you have Ehlers-Danlos." So, but officially, I'm diagnosed with undifferentiated connective tissue disease. But I think what happened is that Dee Dee, in the medical world, when you're trying to find a diagnosis, they talk to you a lot about all of these different things that could be wrong. And when they stick on something for too long, you just kind of assume that that's your diagnosis, or you're being treated for that and it's not really your diagnosis.
Well, and I've experienced in my own case, like we've discussed, I have an autoimmune disorder where they suspect something and they go ahead and they put it in the chart because they start
Mhm.
treating for that. And that
Exactly.
item is in my chart forever.
Mhm.
Even whenever they're like, okay, you don't have it or you're in remission from this issue, it's still on there in your chart.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And if you're a chronically ill person and they're running batteries of tests, and not just at one doctor, but at multiple doctors, because, yes, she was going to multiple doctors at one point, but it was only so that those specialists could see if it was in their realm of, diagnosis or their realm of treatment. Just because you go to those doctors doesn't mean they're actually treating you or that they're giving you surgeries or medication. They're just looking at you, diagnosing you, whatever. They're doing stuff.
They're trying to
Right.
rule things out. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with you.
Yeah. Cherokee girl, don't worry about it. If I go look at my email, I will get completely sidetracked. Sorry.
In my opinion, it seems like Dee Dee was trying to, one, get her treated for the symptoms that Gypsy, for the most part, was saying that she had. Because as you go through the medical file, you see where they write patient said, not mom,
Mhm.
patient. And so, I go back to everybody's like, oh, well, why would she lie to her mom about being in a wheelchair? She said it herself for attention.
Mhm.
And I mean, what did they expect Gypsy's mom to do? Push her out of the wheelchair and be like, no, I think you can walk. Like there was no solution in that for Dee Dee because again, she believed her daughter, which is the proper thing to do if you ask me. But if she didn't believe her daughter for the amount of time up till she realized that she could walk perfectly fine and didn't need the wheelchair as often, people would have said she was abusive if she had just pushed her out of the wheelchair or told her, get up and stop.
Oh my gosh, right? There'd be a whole new narrative.
One abuse story she could maybe actually tell.
Yeah, right. I got a whole bunch. Okay, hold on. Let's get to the next part of this. Okay. So it says, over the past decade, my story has been told across countless media outlets and in my memoir. Yes, there are small inconsistencies in many interviews and documentaries and a scripted drama series that altogether had many over dramatized, inaccurate details. That is what happens when information from others, family, friends, co authors, gets mixed in with my own memories. This oversight will be corrected in the reprint of my memoir, My Time to Stand. So I remember in the emails where Gypsy was very diligently telling the authors of her book. Now, it was probably the first one, but, I mean, it was the first one was a smaller book, right? So this was probably, she was working on the entire book probably while she was in prison, right? We don't
Mhm.
Well,
think
on
she went
her
home.
on her show, in her one of her episodes, she's looking at her book and she says, "Oh, I've read this 50 times."
Yeah, I know.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. So in the prison emails, she's like very diligently telling these people how to write and giving them like pointers on words to use. And I wouldn't say it that mundane, or I don't remember how
Doesn't
she.
she, if I recall correct, doesn't she tell them something about she's more educated than that? And it sounds basically like it's written at a third grade level. Like, that's not the word she used, but that's basically what she was implying.
That was what she was implying, basically, that I'm more literate than that, basically that she's well read,
Yeah.
and she is well read, which is why, I don't think she's as I think she has more education than what she leads on to.
Yeah. And then, her whole, my story's been retold by other, or countless times over the last
Thank
decade.
you.
It's been retold by her countless times. There's Dr. Phil, there's Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, there's her book. Like, she is the inconsistencies.
Mhm.
The dramatizations are her documentaries. Like,
Yeah.
girl, what?
Yeah, and I
And
mean, I understand that documentaries always have a spin to it, always have a narrative, and they cut things, and there's a lot of editing. I understand that, but at the end of the day, she approved it.
Yes.
And that's what I think she doesn't remember is that she approved this book, that she very, very comprehensively went through telling people what they needed to change, uh, even grammar. So we're not talking about subject, but grammar. She was talking about grammar, and the way that she would tell the story instead of the actual facts in the story. So I don't see where she's coming up with, oh, well, I didn't know that all these lies were in here.
she literally read the audiobook.
I
It's such a
know.
hard listen. I've got the audiobook and
I
it
do
is such
too.
a hard listen. Oh, but yeah, how can she even say that? And then, she left a whole paragraph out of the audiobook about her chromosomal deletion that's in the paper book.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
Is that not crazy?
What?
It is.
Say that again?
She left a whole paragraph out of the audiobook that's in her actual book about her chromosome deletion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. I remember when Becca found that because we were looking back and forth between the audio and the book itself because it was very strange. I think I had the audio and she had the manuscript, so I'm not sure. But yeah, she contradicts herself all the time. She lies all the time. And so yeah, those documentaries, at the end of the day, she signed off on them. The memoir, she signed off on them. And she ultimately is responsible for misinformation going out, in my opinion.
I really
100%.
feel, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I really feel like, her saying all that, nobody's ever set me down and gone through and transcribed them. I feel like she's trying to set it up for her to be able to be like, I lost my train of thought. Dang it.
That she's sick later?
That she didn't know that my attorney told me it was fake. So I believed him. I didn't know that something like that,
Yeah.
he told me it was Munchausen. So I believed him. He told me I wasn't sick. It was all fake. So I believed him.
Well, and that's the thing. She talks about how Mike sits her down, and I think it's with Christy and Rod and shows her the medical records and shows her where she's being abused and where she's a victim of Munchausen by proxy. Which, if somebody's got to show you that you're being abused, in rare situations, people sometimes don't realize it. But
Gypsy was a 23-year-old woman and was into BDSM. She knew what abuse was.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like there's no skating around that. And the whole, like what Ashley was talking about and you just now, the whole Mike told her and sat down with her and all that. At the end of the day, she just wants another person to blame for her lack of accountability.
Well, yeah, she's always the victim. She's not a survivor, she's a victim. And until she moves out of victim mode and into survivor mode, if she truly is, a victim, then she's never going to get anywhere. And, I think we'll get into it a little bit later, but, there were some weird things going on in that house. Definitely. I'm not going to say that there weren't some weird things going. That was a weird dynamic, a completely weird dynamic. So I'm not going to say that everything was hunky dory. Okay. But at the same time, I know what it's like to go to sleep afraid, like that somebody's going to get you or that you're going to be hurt in the
I
middle of the night.
really do think that, she probably really does believe that Dee Dee wanted her to be this eternal child, like she claims. And the reason why I say I think that she actually believes that is because Gypsy, and listen, I'm a mother to somebody who is 18 years old, the age that Gypsy was pretending to be at this time.
Mhm.
And if my child was online talking to 35-year-old men on parole, oh, I don't know what that is. What did I do?
Somebody gifted you something.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know what that was. Sorry. Anyways, if my child was talking to 35-year-old men on parole or talking to almost 50-year-old men like we've seen in her prison emails that she talks about, I would sit my child down and be like, "Why are you doing this? This isn't okay." And I think that Gypsy took that and absorbed it as my mother is not going to let me grow up, rather than saying my mother's not saying I'm not a grown up. She's just saying they're too grown up for me.
Very good point. Very good point.
I know Ashley has some thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe that too. Like, I think that she she could like misconstrues things. You know what I'm saying? She bends certain things. I don't know. I can't, but like Audrey said, she believed that her mom really wanted to keep her a kid when it's not normal for you to be 19 talking to a 50-year-old man, sending these pictures to these older men. That stuff's not normal. Like, that's not okay.
While
Especially if people are thinking you're mentally impaired to, handicap, that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, while at the same time, seeing her freaking show up in a wheelchair and pajamas and mater shoes or house shoes or whatever. And Nancy was talking about how she had saw her at that event, and she's talking to her like she's a little child, and she's like,
I like your
"You probably thought I
shoes."
was like an idiot." And that's what I wonder, because so many people had these interactions with Gypsy. She obviously portrayed herself as mentally disabled, mentally deficient, cognitively impaired, whatever. She obviously made herself look like that and act like that because she doesn't act like that now, right?
No. Well, actually, no. Yes, she does. When it will benefit her, she plays the I'm a poor innocent, I'm a good girl.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I will say that I was going through some clips and we're just going to well, hold on, let me get to that point where it says it. Hold
While
on.
you pull that up, I'm going to tell you, I went through the little casebook today, and the letter, Ashley, that me and you've talked about that's so hard to read, I printed it. so that I could write over it to connect the letters. And the last paragraph says, I love y'all so much. Please know I'm still the sweet girl who loves Disney princesses and kitties. I'm just lost right now with no map to guide me.
What is this?
It's in the case book. It's a letter that she wrote to her aunt and that the jail took from her. And I found the reason why they took it. She basically pulled an OJ, you know, the book he tried to release, the If I Did It, Why I Did It. She basically makes that statement in this.
I guess I need to reread some stuff.
Well, it's really hard to see. But like I said, I went over it with a pen. I did it on live with my people today. But I'll send you like the picture where I went over it with a pen.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah.
go ahead, play
You
your
wanna read
clip.
it?
Do I want to read it?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
wanna
read
Oh,
it.
the whole
Read it.
thing? Okay, so there's a few words we couldn't figure out, but it says, Dear Aunt Rachel, and then it's also addressed to somebody else. I couldn't figure out that part. It says, Tears run down. I saw you try to write me. I was overwhelmed knowing y'all still think of me the I sad. So some of it doesn't make sense. I was not able to read it because it was sent back. They are picky. It has to be no tape, sticker sender, letter with my CFN 2953222, name and jail address. Please try and send it again. When I was arrested, my pain something, I don't know what that part is. Ex-boyfriend, y'all are who I wanted to call first. But I don't remember y'all's number or I would have called right away. I don't even know where to begin to explain it. Just start with, I'm sorry. I feel like I owe you both an explanation and apology. Please know that I'm not the evil, twisted monster the media is trying and succeeding in making me. Yes, I am in trouble. I am a part or two horrible, tragic acts. But everyone forgets I did not kill her. My ex did. And he even confessed any part was small in all of this. Yet I'm taking what seems like the heat of it. The media has even showed pics of me in a costume from Halloween, a comic book girl from the Batman comics. But they showed it to make me look crazy, troubled, and evil. And I'm not. I know you must feel confused and maybe upset. I thought that it was really weird. She says maybe upset, like you killed somebody and you think people are maybe upset. But anyways, she put, I understand y'all. Me and mom wasn't this perfect little family, happy as can be, but behind closed doors, things were far from okay, and it was just getting worse. I tried running away twice, failed. I can't say it was always bad, but it wasn't what people thought. I'm sorry for not telling you I can walk, but she said not to, and I always obeyed. I always just obeyed. And there was things I didn't even know myself. My lawyer told me, like my real age, which after watching the interrogation video, we know she knew her real age.
Yep.
Anyways, I just turned 24 and I never was taking chemo. My mom would shave my head bald. So for years, I thought I was dying of cancer and I'm not. Thank God. I'm perfectly healthy and most people think I killed her. That's why this happened. This is the part. But that's not true. I loved her. What I hated was my invisible cage, the web of lies, secrets, and overall sadness. Nowhere in that I hated seeing the doctors, but okay.
Or the abuse.
Yeah. But even then, I would never act on any thoughts or emotions unless it was on the many medications I was forced to take. And I obviously had a bad reaction. Is as a result, it led me to disaster, and my psycho ex didn't help. Can't even remember half of what happened that night. Then there's still a whole other page. She goes on to talk about her dad. But once they reviewed the evidence at the prelim hearing, I was in shock, horrified at what Nick did. I didn't know details, only he murdered her. It was only then is a snaps, I think is what it says there, in and becomes real. I'm heartbroken, confused, and lost, and feeling more grief and regret each day. I wanted to get away. It's her whole excuse. I wanted to get away.
Mm-hmm.
But God, not like this. My life is in a billion pieces, which I would need a microscope to see. I thought that was interesting too, because she went on to talk about how this has affected her life and not my mom's no longer here. So
Mm-hmm.
that was interesting. She says, in this whole situation, my blood family has shown amazing support. My dad is now back in my life. As it turns out, my mom was keeping him from me and me from him. He would try to come see me, but she would tell him, we're not home. When we was on, yeah, I don't understand the sentence. When we was on with all I have ever known, Gene, I opened too late. He wants to take me home. Oh, wait, I skipped a sentence. I opened my heart to him, and we are building a bond 24 years later, not too late. He wants to take me home with him and my stepmom, Christy, when I get out. I don't know when I'll be out. We are about a year and a half away from trial. The prosecutor may offer a plea deal sooner on a count of manslaughter, which includes a sentence of 3 to 15 years. But right now, there is a day by day. I'm out in general population with others. I'm hanging in there. Praying is my favorite pastime. Though I received God, He has forsaken me. Regardless, I pray. I don't know if y'all hate me or even want anything to do with me, but please write to me with y'all's phone number so I can call. My lawyer, and then she put in parentheses, public defender, name is Mike Stanfield. If y'all have any questions, he can answer them as to the case and maybe setting up a visit so I can see y'all. I love you so much. Please know I'm still the sweet girl who loves Disney princesses and kitties. I'm just lost right now with no map to guide me. Sending all my love and hugs. Gypsy Rose, XOXO.
Rainbows and kitties and butterflies.
That girl is Looney Tunes, honey. Who
Well, and like she
talking
says,
about
oh,
being
if I done it,
Disney?
she was building a defense right there.
Yeah. And who the hell at 23 years old is talking about, I'm still the girl that likes Disney princess? Girl, what is wrong with you?
The girl who only knows how to attract men that are into young people. I'm sorry, but she only attracts weirdos.
Yeah. After reading those emails, yeah.
And how did going to the preliminary hearing make it real? Girl, it wasn't real when you went in there and covered her up and put that Barney doll by her head. It wasn't real when you heard her yell your name.
Or you
3
ate those
times.
brownies while laughing.
Girl.
Or when you were looking underneath the door, trying to spy to make sure, that people weren't going to throw you in prison for the rest of your life.
Right, like you knew what was going on.
I need a lawyer. That's the one thing, when I heard that, I was like, oh,
She ain't
dang.
innocent.
No, if she knew she needed a lawyer, no.
That's something I've went on too, is that really tells the intelligence level between her and Nick. She
Yes.
knew to ask for a lawyer.
Mhm.
Nick never even questioned, do I need a lawyer?
Mhm. Exactly. That definitely is a stark difference between the two of their mentalities.
Yeah.
And the fact that Gypsy pretended to be like Nicholas, and even worse, and Nicholas is just that way, And I think that's what's really frustrating to me is that she pretended to be a mentally handicapped child.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And people to this day are like, oh my God, you're making fun of a disabled person. No, I'm making fun of somebody who pretended to be disabled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her microdeletion is an issue, obviously. but at the end of the day, she was not disabled, I
Well, she's
mean, yes,
unscathed.
huh?
I said she's unscathed according to
Oh,
her.
yeah, well, you can tell that she definitely has some muscle weakness and stuff like that. So, and the only reason she's quote unquote unscathed now is because Dee Dee rectified most of those situations with doctor's
Treatment.
visits, treatments, things like that. That's why she's unscathed now. Because if Dee Dee hadn't taken care of those things back when Gypsy was young, she would still be dealing with them now. Mm-hmm.
And
That's
her trying to
exactly
act
what
like
I'm.
the strata business stuff is just a lazy eye. Oh, I just had a lazy eye, and that was cosmetic. Girl, you would have been blind, and that wasn't just cosmetic. Like your eye was turned in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Kim. No, I agree. I have somebody in my life who very much reminds me of Gypsy. And actually, I'm just going to play this.
It's me.
No. I'm going to play this, a little bit of this video real quick. And her in the black and white outfit she reminds me of somebody close to me. And had she stayed like this, I probably would have never even entertained the thought of questioning her. But she's morphed into something completely different. So,
I would be curious if anybody Gypsy has talked to feels they're getting the full story.
This is actually kind of the first time I've been honest. Besides being honest, my attorneys, even that, I haven't been completely honest with them. So.
How would you describe your mom?
Unique. I mean, I used to always think that maybe she's a little overprotective. So if I had to say one word about her, it would be overprotective. She taught me how to be a good liar. A very good liar without any conscience. And I'm changing that. I'm trying to be a good person now. I don't want to be like my mother, and I'm nothing like her.
okay. So, you see the stark difference in the way she looks, the way she acts, the way she speaks from the first clip to the second clip. Now, the naysayers would say, oh, well, she got away from her mom and she was in prison for a while. But I think she was still pretending to be mentally deficient in that first clip.
Well, and I think that originally, whenever she very first went into prison and she was not getting a ton of attention from people, she was able to feel her guilt a little, and slowly start to register it. But as soon as like shows started going off and people started messaging her, like me and you both have went over a lot of the emails, you can see it quickly start to fade as she begins to get attention because she's like, shit, I'm not remorseful. Look what it got me.
Yeah, and I can't even count on my fingers how many times he was actually remorseful in those emails. Like most of the time she spent in prison was trying to get a baby daddy and triangulating them all against each other, making them jealous of one another.
Well,
That's
and
really all
having
she did.
lots of food fetishes.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I try to forget that, which is ironic because she has such a issue with food.
Well, she couldn't put them in one hole. She's got to do it in the other.
Oh,
Sorry, that was wrong. My bad.
oh no. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, wow. Okay. So Gypsy lied there, or Gypsy said that she could lie there. And I played that because right here it says Gypsy goes on to continue in her message on TikTok. When I said on Dr. Phil that I could lie without a conscience, I meant that my mother taught me to lie, to pretend everything was fine at home, to cover up what was really happening. That's what abusers do. They train their victims to survive through silence and performance. Never once did I think when expressing that people would ever invalidate my trauma and further claim that I was a willing participant in her con. Okay, so when I see her say that she's a liar in that clip, I don't see that as she's good at pretending. I see that she says she's a good liar. She didn't say I'm a good pretender, because I think that would be more the vocabulary of somebody who felt like they were pretending their entire life.
Right, exactly. And she says she never thought people would invalidate her. She truly probably never thought that because she didn't think that all the evidence was going to come out.
Well, she thought she was
Exactly.
going to go home.
She thought all this was going to stay buried. She thought taking that plea deal, people weren't going to find out how much she was involved and how much she was involved with the lies and conning or with the murder. She thought she was really going to hide some shit and just be the victim, the survivor.
Well, I mean, she told that cop, I don't know why they're looking at me. I'm in handcuffs. I didn't do anything. I'm just a good girl. I mean, she thought she was going home at the end of that day. She
She
did not
asked about her
believe.
money. She was asking him if she was going to get her money and her ID back.
Mhm.
Like, he thought she was walking out of there.
Yeah, but
100%.
I believe Nick believed he was walking out of there too. It almost felt like he.
I
If I
think he
remember
thought the
correctly.
detective was helping him. I really think he thought the detective was going to help him, and
Yeah.
didn't. In that trial, she's like laughing and smiling on the stand. It pisses me off watching it. I'm not gonna lie.
I think one of the things that makes me the most upset about that trial, and I had no idea until the emails came out. Like I said, I didn't follow this case when it came out. I didn't know, much about it. I've just been piecing it together as I go. And oh crap, where was I going with that?
That's me.
When the
Daily.
emails came out, you were talking about when the emails came
Oh,
out.
yes. When the emails came out, I found out that she was already engaged to Ken by the time she was standing on that or sitting on that trial on that bench. That's wild that she was sitting there in front of Nicholas. He thought that he rescued this woman from the evil monster, and she's up there already engaged to another man and ready to move on with her life, and she thinks she's doing him a favor by.
I didn't realize she was already married, but I do think it's interesting that she continues to claim, like, basically, she makes it sound like she volunteered to go and do this. And in one of the prison emails, she says, well, I guess I'm being subpoenaed for this.
Mhm.
So she did not volunteer. She was voluntold.
Yes.
She was subpoenaed, and then Nick's trial got pushed back, and she ended up writing his attorney a letter. It's somewhere, I've seen it, but she ends up writing his attorney a letter saying she still wants to testify. But again, this wasn't voluntary. She was subpoenaed to be there. And I think the only reason she even wrote the letter and pushed and was like, I still want to be there, is because she wanted to be able to use that footage in her documentaries. She wanted to be able to show herself up on that stand or something.
Well,
You know?
yeah, and I didn't realize that documentary had been put out before Nick's trial until, recently within the last 6 months or so.
They literally called it the Mommy, Dead, and Dearest trial in news coverage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
understand how Dan Patterson was able to be in the documentary and then work his case. How is that not a conflict of interest? That's
It
crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge conflict of interest, and I think, he should be called out professionally for that, but unfortunately, none of his colleagues are gonna do that, so, um, okay, let's see. He said a whole lot this week, so let's get into it. Hey, Laura, can you turn the, air or the, heat down because it's hot down here?
I
She's
wish
been
it was warm
cleaning.
here. I'm underneath a blanket and Ashley's outside. Send it our way.
I forgot you're outside. Dang.
Yeah, it's not too bad though. And
Laura's been
once it starts
cleaning.
to get chilly, I wear like 2 pairs of pants. I do not play with the cold.
I gotta go. My back feels like it's gonna break.
I'm sorry, but have a good night.
They said have a good night. Okay.
Thank
Excuse me, Otzi.
Oh,
Yeah, it's too hot up here or down here. Okay. So let's get into it. It says, so it also says that she didn't participate in the con. And like we said, she made everybody think that she was mentally deficient. So at the very least, she did that.
And
At the
she
very
lied about
least.
having feeling in her leg. Like in her documents, in her medical documents, she was telling the doctor she had no sensation below the pelvic area. Gypsy was saying that.
And I have heard people say that, but I have not looked at those specific medical records. But I trust you, and and the people who
I
have
can
brought
see
them
it.
up. Okay. Let's see. It says, even if someone doubts the medical abuse, please understand there were many other forms of abuse. It's not normal for a mother to bind her 14-year-old daughter's chest, which I have never heard of before until this message. Keep her from attending a formal education and cease all homeschooling after the 2nd grade. There was obviously some kind of education going on, even if it wasn't conventional schooling, because she's able to read and she's able to write. And the fact that she's able to read and write so well from the shoot, not just because she took the GED class, she was already.
Her doctor put in her little medical records she had a rich vocabulary or something.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they say that there's somebody coming to the house to school her. And I noticed whenever I was going over this letter today, something that tells me she has an education is she knows the difference between when to use a and an. And that's something that, I've met people in college that don't even use right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She definitely is educated in some form or fashion. Like I said, it doesn't mean that it's conventional, but it's definitely, Dee Dee spent time with her, teaching her how to read, teaching her how to write at the very least, and counting and things like that. I mean, she knew how to send Nicholas money in the mail. I mean, she knew a lot of things.
She knew how to count down that cash she stole.
Huh?
She knew how to count down that cash she
Oh,
stole
yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely.
She stole the cell phone too.
Yes, and lots of other things too. I mean, baby clothes, everything. So, I mean, okay, think about that. So, I've never been one to go to a store and steal. I've never done that, to go to a store and steal. Oh, wait, I did when I was 4 years old. When I was 4 years old, I took Rolaids and I wasn't able to color in my coloring book the whole day.
Why were you still in Rolaids at 4, girl?
Because they had a little bin of the tube of Rolaids, and I thought it was like lifesavers or something, and I just put them in my pocket. I had to actually take them back to the store and go to the security guard and everything. I made my daughter do that once too, but
It's a good way to learn.
oh, she stole a Sharpie at the checkout at Walmart or something. I don't know. But yeah. Okay, it says, impersonate her child daughter on Facebook to manipulate her daughter's father. Well, she was impersonating Dee Dee, in my opinion. It looked like she was impersonating Dee Dee.
Yeah, I would say we've seen some of the messages, obviously not all of them at this point from Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I'm not buying that one. I'm not buying that Rod would fall for it. And plus, Rod even says the only communication that he had with Gypsy was over the phone, and Dee Dee would stand next to her during those conversations. So, which was it? Was the only communication over the phone, or was it through the internet as well?
Yeah. And Cherokee Girl, yeah, the mail. I know for a fact somebody was stealing Dee Dee's mail. Who it was, I have no idea. But well, I mean, I'm sure we know who it was. But, but yeah. Okay. Threatened that the boogeyman CPS would take her away for misbehaving, placing fear into her child from a young age. Okay. So yeah, I mean, but I grew up that way too. My
Yeah,
parents were
yeah.
drug addicts.
I was
My
about to say, my parents used to tell me, and I've told my kids that call CPS, give me a break for a few days.
Me too. Please go ahead, try it. No, but I remember I actually got pulled in to a forensic investigation with CPS, DCF, whatever it is in Oklahoma.
The
And
forensic psychology.
well, no, so when I was like, I had to have been around 7 or 8 years old, and they pulled my brother and I into an interview where they forensically interviewed us to figure out what was going on in our home, and or at least that's what it was called. I don't know. Anyways, so they asked us questions because somebody had told child welfare services that my mother was shooting us up with drugs. It wasn't true. I mean, my mom was a drug addict, but she wasn't doing that.
She wasn't wasting it on y'all.
No, right? That would never happen. And the fact that I would have fallen down on the ground screaming, "Oh no!" You know, at that time I was scared to death of needles. So, yeah, no. So my brother and I had to go in there and talk about it, and I remember my brother was like 3 or 4, and but at that time I was taking care of him and everything. So I was, running that whole place. But yeah, I was always told CPS was going to come get you, and they did try to come get me, but I got myself out of it.
Right.
So
Yes, my parents use it all the time as a threat. And my kids have told me, like, I'm going to call CPS over something stupid. Like, I grounded them from their toy. And I'm like, good. Give me a break.
yeah, well,
Take a
911 used to
3 day
be
break. Let me go on a 3 day vacation with 3 hots and a cot,
That
Shoot.
72-hour hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 hots and a cot was my uncle's favorite thing. He's like, "Hey, at least I got 3 hots and a cot. It doesn't matter." My family is a little interesting. Okay. Let's see. Let's continue on with what she said. Okay, forged medical and government documents to alter personal information, including last name and even year of birth, all to create an eternal child for her own financial gain and emotional control. Well, we know that, well, I've looked into seeing if there was any fraud in Medicaid or Medicare or whatever it was. I can't remember right now.
SSI.
Okay, whatever. I looked into all that and I never could find any fraud charges or any investigations into them, into any government fraud when it comes to medical benefits or anything like that.
So the casebook that's going around right now that everybody's saying was not legally obtained, it does say in there that they spoke to the Social Security Administration and that they were interested in seeing the bank statements because they were considering pursuing a case. But then, like, whenever they call back, I think it's like a month or so later, the detective is telling them, like, hey, we haven't been able to get the bank statements. And then they said that they weren't going to pursue it because Dee Dee was dead.
Yeah, and I've even asked the Greene County about any fraud investigations that were going on, and they were not doing a separate fraud investigation or anything like that. Everything they were doing was, they knew something was going on, from what I understand, but never like was able to collect all of that evidence because it stopped. So but with SSI you also get like Medicaid or Medicare, I can't remember which one, but and there was no fraud or anything reported. I haven't
Well,
seen any.
And she says that they changed government IDs and all that. They didn't. If you go and you look, Gypsy's bus pass, which isn't a government
Yeah.
ID, but her actual ID and her Medicaid card has 1991 and her actual name on it.
Yeah, I mean, she took a whole folder, supposedly, or a binder to run away with Dan, proving everything. So, and what year was that? 2011?
2011.
Mm-hmm. So she already knew by then how old she was and everything. And she was just in on the con. I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, she was up to it and neck deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the hospital had to have had her real birthday at the end because when she's in the interrogation, that hospital band has her real birthday on it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Well,
that
they
was in
always had her
Wisconsin.
real birthday because of the Medicaid card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so she says those things happened and they're not normal. I want to clarify something that it is often misunderstood. I do have a chromosomal condition called microdeletion on the 1q21.1. I have been open about this and included it in my memoir. This genetic variation was even considered during my court proceedings. Some people online assume that because I have this microdeletion, all of the surgeries and medications I received must have been medically necessary, but that's not true. So we already know that I've never seen any evidence of her microdeletion being presented at court. Never. And I don't just assume that the procedures and surgeries she had were necessary. I believe that they were necessary because I believe that her eyes were very medically necessary. I believe the feeding tube at one point was medically necessary because she had failure to thrive. And she talks about that in that girl's comment section that we may get into later. I don't know, depending on how long we stay on here. But she talks about being in the hospital and staying for extended times and stuff like that. So she was sick and her mom was taking care of those sicknesses, and she's unscathed, like we said earlier, because her mom was taking care of those symptoms.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. She's like, "Oh, I've been open about this microdeletion," when it was never mentioned in any of the damn documentaries. I feel like she didn't
Well,
actually come out and say it until content creators started making hella videos about it.
Well,
Rod
and
said it. Rod said it in one of the documentaries.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
that's right.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember which one, but it was just glossed over and there was nothing else said about it.
well, and they glossed over it not only in that way, but whenever they show the the suspicion of Munchausen, the sentence after it says an unknown
Yes.
underlying etiology, but they didn't highlight all that. They just highlighted a portion of that sentence because they were purposely hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
do
just
that a
eating people.
lot in her documentary. They did that with the durable power of attorney. They literally show it in her documentary, but they only highlight certain parts of it. They literally manipulate it so you see it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Change
Yeah,
the narrative.
she's definitely good at manipulation, and from everything I've heard about whatever this has that's come out, that oh dang, where was I going with that? Sorry. I have cognitive issues.
Dude, I do the same thing. I'll be mid sentence and be like, lost my train of thought. Like
Yeah, I don't know if I have ADD. I already know I have cognitive issues. I don't know if I have ADD, ADHD, what, but I cannot. Yeah, it's hard for me.
I do it even on the medicine. That's how bad mine is.
Well, I've never taken any of that medicine, so I don't know how it would affect me, but it would be interesting to see if it actually helped or not.
Talk to a doctor.
Yeah.
But not too much, because then you might be malingering or have Munchausen.
Right? No, it's funny because, like I've said, for like 23 years, they've been trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And I can honestly say, Cherokee girl said it's called old lady disease. I can honestly say, that, yeah, and I just forgot what I was going to say. It's called being a pothead.
You said for 23 years they've been trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh, yeah. And so when I was reading these Munchausen by proxy books, I started getting nervous. I was like, do these doctors think this about me? And then I'm like, no, wait, Amber. No, they would have said something to you by now.
Okay, but why do I do the same thing? Like if I'm going through the airport or something and like I go through the security, I'm like, shit, what if I have something on me and I didn't know?
I do the same thing. I'm like,
I went to the police department today to get some arrest records, and I was checking my pockets before I went in. Do I got anything crazy on me? Like shit.
Paranoia is real.
it's so bad. Yes, I have senior moments. Okay, let's see. While 1Q21.1 microdeletion can be associated with certain traits, such as a smaller head size, mild development delays, strabismus, or distinct facial features, I have been evaluated by a genetic specialist who explained that I exhibit very few of the possible medical issues linked to this condition. Despite that, my mother repeatedly told doctors that I had severe illnesses, muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, hearing loss, asthma, leukemia, even cancer and paralysis. The diagnosis changed from hospital to hospital, depending on what she told them. Unfortunately, many doctors took her word at face value and recorded those claims in my medical chart, creating a false and misleading medical history that does not reflect my true health today. And like Audrey said earlier, she was trying to get a diagnosis. And so when you're trying to get a diagnosis, lots of stuff is put in your medical records. Lots of notes.
And not only that, she contradicts that because she says no doctors went over my medical stuff with me. But here she's saying, I've talked to this genetic specialist who said, by the way, all this stuff in my medical stuff isn't correct. So which is it? You had a doctor go over your medical stuff or you didn't? Like, make up your mind.
Yeah. Well, it's very convenient. She's always got a convenient avenue to escape from.
An excuse.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Another thing is like the things are explained in her medical records. These doctors didn't just go by word of mouth of her mom. They gave her swallow tests. I mean, dude, they looked into things when she said they were wrong. They did feeding studies on her. They didn't just do things.
Yeah, her talking about being in the hospital, and she goes into that in somebody else's comment section where she talks about being in the hospital for a month. And everybody knows that if you're going to be in the hospital for a month, it's for a reason. It's usually a diagnostic reason. They're probably trying to figure out what's going on, or there's a critical, acute problem. It's one of the two. They don't just keep you in just because they like your company or they want to milk the system for all it's worth. No, they need those beds.
Well, and a lot of times you have to have something like you said that's half-ass critical because like me, for example, whenever I went in with all of my RA pain, they were like, okay, we're going to treat you for the pain. Like I wasn't going in asking for medicine. I was going in asking, can you tell me what is wrong with me? And they literally discharged me and told me, here's the test you should take, but we don't do those in the emergency room. We don't do them inpatient. Go see a doctor, request these tests. And they recommended the RA test after I had been seeing my regular doctor for 2 years. And one visit to the ER told me what to go get tested for. And lo and behold, that's what I had.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny. The ER is pretty good about that because you have some pretty interesting doctors get in there, and they're looking at all kinds of different people.
Yeah.
And I have found that the ER doctors usually find more than your regular doctor or your specialist.
Yes.
So, but yeah, no. So she's talking about how the diagnosis has changed from hospital to hospital, but we all know that she had that one doctor um, from the time she was a small child until the time she got put in prison. So there was one doctor following her basically her whole life.
Dr. Beckerman.
Yeah. So explain that to me, please.
And he was like a sleep specialist. He's like the chief of sleep specialty and then the director of pulmonology or something. Like he wasn't just a doctor. That
Mhm.
dude had credentials, you know what I'm
He's a
saying?
specialist.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if he has been treating her 10 plus years, then he has definitely ran multiple tests to see if things are progressing. Are they deteriorating further? You know what I mean? Like, you just didn't see this guy for 10 plus years and, oh, it's the same regimen. We're not going to check on nothing. Come on now.
Exactly.
Somebody who is going to do a documentary or whatever needs to get a hold of that guy and they need to talk to him. You know, he doesn't need to disclose any medical information, but he can talk about the character of the two people that he saw in front of him for years and years and years and the dynamic.
I'm pretty sure this is the same doctor that in her book she says has them labeled as like his two favorite patients and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Mhm.
It's even written in that article about him that how excited they were to see one another again.
Well, and there's something about in one of her medical records where one of the doctors says something like that. I can't remember who it was or what it was about, but they were commenting on Gypsy and how much they like Gypsy instead of like actually sticking to medical facts and things like that, which is not normal.
A
Well,
lot
that
of the
tells
little oh, sorry, Audrey, go ahead.
you go ahead.
And you go ahead, girl. You got this.
Well, I was going to say that goes to show her ability to con people and to reel them in to be able to get that because that's a big part of being able to be manipulative is you have to know how to read people, you have to know how to communicate with people to milk them and bring them to your side.
And she's so good at it. I don't know how, but she obviously has a way with people, and or it's just the people she's manipulating. I don't know. It could
There,
be a little bit of both.
there's even a couple of times in the documents I've read where it says Gypsy is an 18-year-old lovely young lady.
Yes,
Right.
yes, that's weird. You know, usually they just stick to the facts. I mean, they'll tell you, they'll say something like what the patient says or is reporting, but they hardly ever veer from that. So it is
I
very interesting.
I think in my son's file it does say stuff like is a happy child, presents as a happy child. So maybe that's something they do with disabled people or
Maybe.
like special needs people or mentally challenged, whatever word it is you want to use or whatever's on the chart. I
Mhm.
think they do document like their personality in that aspect.
Okay. And I'm sure they do to some extent, like at checkups and stuff like that for kids, but you know, just in a regular or a, a doctor who's seeing them a lot, you know, is odd.
But also, Gypsy says she was never allowed to talk to these doctors, but then you see these notes where they call her lovely.
Mhm.
Say she has a rich vocabulary and things like that, or that she was telling them she had no sensation. She was clearly talking to these doctors.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah,
So
no, there's
super
no way. There's no way. I mean, just think about it. Okay. Think about Gypsy and who she is today. There's no way that girl would have kept quiet. I mean, she would have been piping up about something, you know.
well, and let's be real. I mean, she went in there talking about I have no sensation below my waist. That girl has all her sensations there. That's all she thinks with.
Yeah. Where her
her
brain's
kitty cat got
located.
more brain than she does, honey.
For real.
Yep. Okay, so it says, I apologize if my story hasn't always sounded 100% consistent. I've been piecing my life together, learning what was real and what was a lie told by my mother. That's part of healing from trauma. Memory changes over time. especially when therapy helps turn painful memories into distant ones. It hurts when people call me a liar or say my entire story is false. I'm still uncovering truths about my past. Even now, my inconsistencies are not deceit. They are the byproduct of surviving and then untangling years of manipulation. Okay, so I would say yes, trauma survivors have gaps in their memory and they have a hard time remembering stuff. But
But
it's
go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the memories don't change, they just become more clear.
Yes, exactly. They don't change. The memories don't change. And I just look.
She also had been telling that story since it happened. I mean, over and over. So, what does she mean? Like, she doesn't remember things? You've been telling this story for 10 years now, over and over.
Yeah, well, she's trying to, I think it's more about the medical stuff that she's trying to say she doesn't remember so that she doesn't have to be held accountable for it.
That's what I was about to say. She's trying to escape
Somebody
responsibility.
trying to get you, Ashley? That was a weird face.
I don't know. Like, there was some police sirens. You hear. I don't know where that dog was coming from, but the dog was like, "Rah!" I was like,
I was like,
Ashley took something into the police department today, and now they're coming for her.
I was like, oh shit! I knew a skinwalker been out in the woods. I knew it.
A skinwalker in Nebraska.
Ashley brought him with her from Tennessee or Kentucky. Where was it? Tennessee.
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 Talk about a skinwalker. You jumped in my lap and scared the heck out of me. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't even remember where we were, but that was funny. Okay.
The memories part.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yes, it's people lose their memories, people have blocks and all of that stuff, but at the end of the day, like you said, their memories don't change. They become clearer, they become more precise, more details come into focus because you start you know, looking at those memories and trying to dissect them and stuff like that. So, somebody said Nebraska has skinwalkers and dogman. Oh,
Oop, dog man. Ashley, you better get inside.
I was on the trail today with Oates because I had to walk for I had to be outside of the house for 3 hours while my ducks were, or my air ducts were being cleaned. And I turned on my camera and I was like, God, I hope nobody comes and gets me because it would be my luck.
Turn into the true crime case you talk about.
Sometimes when I'm out here by myself, like I'll walk out to my car and get something. I'm good walking to the car, but on the way back, I can't see behind my back, and I'm like, oh gosh, come on, get up there.
It's like whenever you're a kid and you turn off the light and you have to walk real, real fast.
Yes.
Or run. Yeah, I have more feelings of things chasing me and being behind me than ever being in front of me for sure. Okay, let's see. You can't expect someone who lived through psychological and medical abuse to recall every event perfectly, especially after 10 years of processing it publicly. Well, she put herself out there publicly, so that it's just what it is. The truth is, I'm still healing at my own pace. I can't live by what others demand of me. Some want me to be an advocate, others only want to judge me. I can only live my life, continue to heal, and tell my truth as I remember and learn it. All I ask is for people to show understanding and compassion. Abuse changes your perception of right and wrong. It shapes how you see the world and yourself. My story is one of survival, not perfection. If you are reading this and you are one of those individuals who invalidated me, to you I ask, would you still feel the same had I died and my mother had lived? Now that is just absolutely absurd, and I have absolutely no idea why she would even pose that question.
Because she always has to turn it to her. What about me?
Mm-hmm.
What about me? What about me?
Mm-hmm.
She never gave us the chance to know how we would feel.
Right? She came out, straight out the gate telling us all this stuff and just acting a fool. If she had just kept her mouth shut, she could be living a very nice, peaceful life away from the spotlight and would not have any stress or trauma. But I mean, trauma for like, you know,
Us attacking her.
yes, there you go. But she thrives off of this. This is where she gets her juice.
That's where she gets her fix, honey.
Mhm. Yeah, she is like a person jonesing for a fix, honestly, because it seems like she's
She's an
always
instant gratification person. She likes instant gratification.
Well,
yes.
and she asked us, what if it had been the other way around? As somebody who's read the medical files, she was nowhere near knocking on death's door.
Mhm.
Like, she needs to let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even understand where that's coming from. Her mom, for the most part, when Gypsy talks, she had a really good time with her mom because she's always smiling when she's remembering things, unless she's in the hot seat and trying to tell somebody a story. But when she's, just being herself on lives or in her show or whatever, she would reminisce about her memories instead of like,
Saying her mom was a POS.
yeah.
She used to be like, until recently, she would say she was overprotective or
Mhm.
maybe controlling. Until recently, where she was like, oh, she's a piece of, like
Yeah.
all of
Well,
a sudden it changed.
Mhm.
and Dee Dee wasn't abusive. And what I use for my evidence on that is because if Dee Dee was abusive or was going to take her out of this world, she would have done so whenever Gypsy shot her.
Right? Right? So the fact that not only did she, cover up for Gypsy, but then they just continued living their
Like nothing
normal
happened.
lives. Yeah.
Which tells you that's not the first time Gypsy had done some crazy ass shit.
That's what I think, and we're gonna get into it because she talks about, hold on, let me I've got a point I want to make, but I'm not sure we're there yet. Hold on. Okay, so it says, over the last decade, my story has been told in many ways. Have you ever heard of the telephone game? It's when one person tells another person something, who then tells someone else, who tells someone else, who tells someone else. And by the time you get to the last person, the story has changed entirely. That is what happened on social media to my life story and my entire existence in my daily life. Throughout the last decade, many content creators have made videos after video, rumor after rumor, until I've become someone else entirely in the minds of some, and to others, I have grown far beyond their expectations and continue to overcome trauma as a survivor. Let my story be a cautionary tale of what happens when a perfect storm meets a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. Let my story be a lesson to every victim of MVP that this is their time to stand, advocate for more education in hospitals and affordable or free therapy to survivors and harsher penalties to abusers. Advocacy starts with a voice. Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So right there, she's even trying to be an advocate still, even though she says we're pushing advocacy on her.
Well, and why is this girl always trying to educate us? Because, like, we've lived in the real world. So I hate to use this analogy, but it's almost like she is a community college student trying to tell us who are Harvard law students what's right and what's wrong when she doesn't know the world. She hasn't been in it long.
I want to know how she's using this phone analogy, the phone call analogy, when she's the one telling the story on these shows that we're all watching. Like, it's not going through a third person and we're hearing it. We're hearing it from you on our TV.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Like, what the hell are you talking? What?
Yeah, I mean, other than Bree and her people that do her dirty work for her, not many people.
I don't even use what her friends say about her though. I just use what Gypsy said, and that her words contradict themselves. She is the one that contradicts herself. It's not some
Constantly.
third party, She's doing it in her documentaries, in her interviews, in her books.
Well, I use what her friends say because sometimes they'll say something and I'm like, that's a good little rabbit hole. And then you go down the rabbit hole and you're able to prove the exact opposite of what they're claiming.
Oh, I'm
Mhm.
not saying I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm just saying her words show that,
Oh,
like, dude, you're changing up. It's
Mhm.
nobody, it's not just other people, it's you. You know what I mean?
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna move into some of Gypsy's messages, and then I'm gonna get off because I need to rest. It's starting to catch up with me.
That's okay. My phone just flashed 20% and everybody on
Oh,
the TikTok live was like, get your charger.
oh no. Okay. It said I had a swallow study done as a young child. This swallow study required iodine. Iodine is used to see liquid within the body during an X-ray. Since I was very young, I don't particularly remember what happened during the test, but what I do remember is that I went into the hospital as an inpatient and was there for a month. During this time, I was on 12 different medications that I was taking was taking my mouth. I was a young child, so I would of course complain and fuss and didn't want to take the medications, but of course the nurses forced me to. Sometimes I would throw up the medications because I didn't like the taste. I would eat hospital food, and I'm sure that I grew very bored of bland flavors. But I remember holding my bottle, the baby bottle that I never was weaned off of, and I would drink my bottle in place of hospital food. I remember a psychiatrist that would work for the hospital coming to talk to my mom, and my mom got very upset because the psychiatrist was, uh, hold on.
Is that where she says the psychiatrist thought she was scared of her getting fat like her mom?
Yeah, thought I may be that I was eating in the that maybe I wasn't eating in the hospital because I was afraid of becoming fat like her. And so she got offended. But regardless, that was not the reason. What doesn't make sense is being able to eat chicken nuggets the week before going into the hospital. So I don't know. What I do know is the doctor placed a temporary feeding tube which goes through the nose down the stomach. Then the doctor said they wanted to put something more permanent as a supplemental nutrition. It's very difficult when I can't reference my medical records and know for a fact that what is written is the truth of why something was done. I am left to my own memory, which with age is fading more and more, and it becomes harder to answer questions when I myself is still learning about my medical history. It's not like anyone has sat me down and read every single medical record to me and explained it to me and transcribed it to me in a way that I can understand. So, all I can say is I have my memories, and that's all I have, my memories to go on. What is even more interesting is after the swallow study, my mother claimed that I am allergic to iodine. Very convenient. Okay. So there's a whole lot more there. But she she talks about being in the hospital for a whole month, and we already talked about how there's got to be an acute situation to get you into a hospital bed for a month, or there's got to be a observation period where they're getting you into a hospital bed for a month. I can't see of any other reasons why you would be in a hospital bed for a month. So I have personally been in the hospital for a month. The VA had me doing some kind of pain clinic thing. And so I was there every day for a whole month. That really sucked. but
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, I feel like she explained why she had to get that feeding tube, why they put the permanent feeding tube. She was drinking her bottle, not eating her hospital food.
Well, and I think Gypsy slips up on her own whenever she says the psychologist thought that she was scared of getting fat like her mom. I think that that is her saying either one, she truly was scared of getting fat like her
Mhm.
mom, or now that she's out and she's a free person, that's one of her fears that she's now realized.
Yeah, because her mom wasn't that big when Gypsy was younger. She says she's a small child here.
Yeah.
Dee Dee
Well,
was not that big.
and I just want to point out my son has had a barium swallow test 3 different times. They do not use iodine in that.
I
Yeah,
had
I was
2 different RNs in a video I made with her little comment said that too, that they don't use iodine, they use barium.
I okay, so I have had these tests done multiple times. I have very bad swallowing problems myself because I have a hiatal hernia and I have gastroparesis, and I will be just out and about, like at Walmart, shopping, take a drink of something, and it's like my throat closes up and everything just automatically comes right out. It's embarrassing. I've had it happen in front of people. And so these tests, usually they'll have you drink some water to see how that goes down. And then they'll put some kind of radioactive material or whatever. I actually think I think they actually say it's radioactive material, whatever it is. They'll put it in like some eggs or something like that to see if you can swallow eggs, and it'll track, through your system to see how far it how long it takes for you to swallow something. I don't know if that's the same as a swallow test or a barium swallow test. Are these different? Because I know I've had both of them.
I've never got to see it be done on him, so that I cannot answer. I just know that iodine is not in it. And
Yeah,
I
and
had
neither one
something
of them.
done, and it was something for swallow as well. But mine, they made me drink like this chalk stuff while
Yeah, that's
standing
the
against like an
barium.
X-ray board. And then I could see on the X-ray screen, like it go, me swallow, it hit my stomach, and you can literally see in real time it starts to spill into your bladder.
Yeah, that's the barium swallow. I don't know. I must have done another study, but I've done both of them. So, but yeah, I have serious medical issues, and it took my food over 3 hours just to start even moving in my body.
Oh
That's
wow.
how paralyzed my stomach was. So they had to actually cut a muscle in my stomach, and yeah, so lots of fun, but it's coming back again. So I don't know what they're going to do about it. But yeah, there's lots of different studies that you can do. Even the endoscopy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there is no iodine unless they're putting you under, or not under, but I think what she's thinking of is the
The
what's
stuff
that?
for MRIs.
Yeah. What is that? Contrast. I think
Yes.
she's thinking of contrast because iodine, the only reason they would use iodine is to like clean the skin before they put your needle in or put your IV in. There's
Hmm.
there's no reason for iodine to go in the body unless I'm just completely dumb.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
yeah.
I don't know either. The nurse commented on my thing said it's barium when you do a swallow test.
Yeah, so yeah, like Audrey said, you do stand in front of that thing. I
That
completely
sounds
forgot
so
about
cool
that.
though, to be able to see that.
Yeah, and it's the same way with the eggs too, because
Uh,
the eggs, when you swallow it, you can see it go down too. It's really interesting. But
I was just fascinated with how quickly it started going into my bladder. I was like, dang, I already need to pee. And I could literally see it going into my bladder.
yeah, yeah, but I think she was talking about contrast there because I would be curious to know if it got warm in her arm or if it made her feel like she had to pee. Because if that's the case, then it's contrast. So
yeah, I've had contrast, and that's immediately what you feel. You're like, I'm peeing on myself.
yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible until you just realize it's really warm and it feels all right.
Yeah, but I'm the kind that's like, did I or didn't I?
I figure at that point, fuck it. There's no going back.
Okay, let's see. I don't know. She gets into more stuff here. Oh, I wanted to comment on this. Okay. It says, I was just responding to your commenters that said something to the fact regarding the documents and Becca Scoops, to which I simply am saying that I want all of the case file and all of the evidence to be released because right now people only have a portion of it. And there is a big portion that is missing. So when I tell the truth about something, I was asked, and it pertains to Nick, I'm called a liar because those documents have not been released yet. So that is why I made that comment, because for me, if I was curious about a case, which I'm not really into true crime, so there's no case that I'd be that interested in, but I would want to know all of the evidence, every single page of the case file before I judge someone. Because again, we only see the most damning evidence against me. There is over 14,000 Facebook messages between Nick and I that have not been seen. And I think that if that evidence was to be released, then people would be able to reference that back to what I say and therefore give me a little bit more credibility because right now Nick's side is being withheld, which in my opinion is a pretty critical part of the case file. At this point, it can't it can't look any worse on me. But what it can do is give credibility to the claims that I have been saying all along. And again, this has nothing to do with the medical side of things. These are the other things that involve him and the dynamics of his and his relationship that people have not seen yet. That is why I even brought him up. So hopefully soon one of these content creators will be able to request his records and the full case file will be out in the open. Well, Gypsy, just so happens I've done that several times. And I'm waiting once again until I guess January, they said, is when they're looking to release the files. I know they have to go through a bunch more stuff, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm the one who's been releasing all this stuff. I don't know what the new stuff is, what it is, what it pertains to, or whatever. But I'm trying to get it all out there for you, Gypsy. So
Well, and my thing is, I think that she thinks if there's more fingers pointing at Nick, there's going to be less fingers pointing at her. When at the end of the day, they both participated in it. And Nick can't look any more guilty, honestly. Like Nick said, I did this. So nothing changes on that aspect. We know Nick did it. We know Nick participated. Like Nick has told us this.
mhm.
And I think honestly, the more that comes out, maybe she'll look more credible on some things. But at the end of the day, it's not going to make her any less guilty of participating or organizing the crime.
No, I agree. And there's the only thing that she can even pull out of those files that would even help her a little bit or make Nick look worse would be as if Nick introduced the BDSM or if Nick introduced the uh, assault of their children and things like that she talked about.
My
That's
my thing with it is her trying to act so innocent with the whole sexual side of it. You know, like, oh no, he forced me into this. You know, dude, no. You
no.
know, and I would love to see the emails where she like actually lies to him, tells him she's sick and stuff, and then comes clean. I fucking love to see that. But you know, there was accounts. I was watching some of his trial today, and the forensic, like computer analysis. He was talking about how there was accounts that was completely deleted that they couldn't get like the messages and shit from. You know. I'm sure Gypsy had a hand in that, you know?
Well, and my thing with the BDSM and her saying, oh, he forced the introduction of, going after their child whenever their child turns 13. And you stayed with him after.
Right.
Not only did you stay with him after, but you had him do this to your mom. And let's go ahead and let's just take that out. Say that they had ran away that night. she still went on to have a physical relationship on top of an online relationship. And I would like to know how he forced her from states away.
Mm-hmm.
Same. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's just like the stuff she says about Ryan in her prison emails with the kid being right there.
Yeah.
You stayed with these men. These things happen, and you can say, oh, I broke up with them for a minute. You went right back. Hell, you married one of them and murdered your mom with the other and ran away. Like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. And everything that comes out, honestly, like I always think, oh, it can't get worse. And then
And
it's
then it
like,
does.
what the heck? Okay, I'm telling you, when I first saw the toothbrush and the barbecue sauce thing, I was like, what in the world did I just do? I was like, I'm seriously letting all of this weird information out here like this. And I had a conscience or a crisis of conscience or whatever you want to call it for a minute. Cause I was like, dang, this is gross. This is bad, and then the freaking emails come out and it's even worse. And it's like, holy crap, how does this even happen?
Well, and that's the other thing is like, okay, the barbecue sauce thing, for instance. It does say in the description, if I remember correctly, that he made her do that. Okay. But again, she could have literally disconnected the Wi Fi and
Exactly.
made a fake post on their little Facebook about rest in peace, Gypsy Rose or something, and he would have known
Right.
no different. But, oh, he forced me to do this with food. So I turned around in prison and fucked myself with food.
Yeah.
Like,
And talked about food in sexually explicit ways. I mean, the woman, in my opinion, at the end of the day, is a sexual deviant.
I
mhm.
think
And
it's some kind of like humiliation porn type shit because this is
something
what it sounds like when you read it.
Well, and the fact that she wants all of this information released, including videos, and she wanted to subpoena the prison calls. Who in their right mind would want all of that nasty stuff about themselves, like hearing themselves talk like
I
that?
I have a theory because whenever she was in prison, remember she sent that message, I want to show the girls my fly ass pics, talking about her picture dressed up as Candy and Demona,
Uh-huh.
where the girl looks ridiculous, to put it
Yeah.
lightly.
Mhm.
I think that she wants those videos to come out so that she can relive those moments. I think that it's still a
Mm,
turn on to her.
I
I
wondered if
could see
she still
that.
has access to that damn Facebook account. Like, can she get in that account?
I'm sure she can if she remembers the password because
I mean,
they're not
MPG
shut
seems
down.
like it seems like MPG always comes up with some crazy media that nobody's ever seen. Like, where are they getting it? So it makes me wonder if she has access to her old account.
Well, but at the same if they truly do work for Nick and have access to like Nick's dad and uncle and things like that, they
They
may
have his old
have
file.
they may have some old files or something like that.
Well, and they probably have his original computer because
Mhm.
once you're found guilty, you can go and you can request all of your personal items back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we actually
I
were
need that $100 back from that time I sold that gram and got busted.
Bitch, you better write them.
Hard times, but fuck, where my money at? Remember that fucking $100 bill you seized from me 20 years ago? It's a
Where's my
recession.
money?
Hey, have you ever done the "Where is my money" or whatever it's called online? You should go and look and see if it's an unclaimed stuff.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that before.
That would be so crazy.
See,
I found that a couple of years ago. I was at the Capitol here in Missouri, and they have a little area with like unclaimed like properties and all kinds of weird stuff. And I was like, "Ooh, I need to look in there."
I I have one in Missouri, and you want to know the reason why they won't give it to me?
Why?
Because I don't have an old piece of mail from my Fort Leonard Wood address, or I don't have an old ID. But you know this, Amber, because you were military. So my home of record, or my husband's home of record, was Texas, and we lived in Missouri. So I always just did the extension on my driver's license from Texas. I never had a Missouri driver's license till I lost my Texas one. And then Missouri, for whatever reason, never called Texas to be like, hey, cancel it. So then I lost my Missouri driver's license, and I found out my Texas one was still valid. So I just continued to use it.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, they won't let me claim it because I don't have a piece of mail from 15 years ago. Like,
That's
fuck me,
crazy.
who keeps that?
That's crazy. Yeah. We had some property in the family that was passed down that everybody pays taxes on, but it's not really worth anything.
Yeah.
It's just been in the family for like, I don't know, 80 years, something like that.
Dang.
The family heirloom at this point.
That's not an heirloom. It's just a hindrance or an eyesore.
It's a tax bill every year.
Tax bill, yeah.
Taxes, yeah.
Okay, well, ladies, thank you so much for being with me tonight. We could stay on a lot longer, but I'm tired, and I'm sure you are too. And Ashley, I'm sure you're cold.
It's not that bad now. I done got used to it.
She's in hypothermia.
Yeah, done with numb and shit.
Okay, well, I hope you guys all have a really blessed day, or actually a blessed evening. And come back sometime and let's talk about something else.
Let's do it.
Okay. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.